Waiting on somebody. Come on, Larry. Well, I guess we can go ahead and start it out. How crazy was 2025, Larry?
It wasn't a good one.
No, it wasn't. Well, I mean, it started out pretty good, actually, right?
Yeah, first half of it was pretty good. It turned out good,
I
then
gotta,
turned shitty.
I gotta say, I think when somebody got caught doing something they weren't supposed to do, and they realized that they had done wrong and that they weren't going to get their way, I think they became a different person. You know, I was playing Poker Face, that game. Pretty popular. It's pretty cool. You meet some very interesting people. Met a guy from Florida. His name's DJ. Y'all let me know if this guy's got a YouTube channel. If anybody's heard of him, I'm pretty sure I know him from somewhere. He's got one of those faces, you know. But it was a lot of fun meeting him. So I hope he gets to come check out my channel and hope he's happy when he does it. Shout out to you, DJ. You're a lot better poker player than I am. You and Alicio. Have you ever heard of that game, Larry? Yeah, you get to meet people from all over the country, all over the world. Um, I got to meet a guy named Keith Smith one time that used to play football in the NFL. His um his son plays for the Falcons now, so yeah, you get to meet some really interesting people on there. Um, Interesting thing, I'm a Chiefs fan, and Alton, Keith's son, he was actually drafted by the Raiders. So small world, but you know, NFL, it's a fun community. You know, people watch the games on TV, and it's not quite the same as going to the games in person. Have you ever been to a game in person, Larry? No. And things change, and this YouTube channel grows, Larry. I think I'm gonna have to get you to a game, especially when Mahomes gets healthy. And that's a must watch football right there. Hey, 2025 was such an odd year. So 2026 we're definitely trying to get even. That's why next month, you know, we're gonna make sure we do this in an even month. In February, we're going to announce our candidacy for the United States Congress officially, with the papers being a bona fide candidate once I file with the Secretary of State's office. So, Larry, are you good with doing some bus touring? Right? I mean, we're not talking about very far. We're talking about staying over here in the Southwest Hub. This would be like for a few days at a time, little mini vacations, like going to Branson and stuff. You ever been to Branson?
Yeah,
It is a very beautiful area.
it's been years, but I've been there.
Got to run into one of my friends down there. He works for the Kansas City Chiefs. His name is Matt McMullen. He works with Mitch Holtis, who is the voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. You know, they got the Kingdom podcast. If you haven't already, go check that one out. my uncle who was mentally challenged. I've talked about him on my channel, Guy. See, people wonder how I had any sort of relation to Delania because it seemed like such a complicated situation, right? You go back and you watch Hero Cop. Let's give people the answers that they wanted to Hero Cop. And
Hey, where's the b-ball?
anyways, in Hero Cop, right? People want to know how I knew Delania. Well, that is because for most of my adult life, I'm 38 now, I took care of my uncle, Guy Wilson. Guy had MMR, which got changed in the DSM because it was labeled an offensive term because the term, and I'll watch my monetization, this is just for categorization purposes. His original medical condition was called mild mental, you know the rest, right? So that got changed to a term intellectually disabled. I've been going through files and reports recently, documents that haven't been made official with the court, so they're probably not going to be made official. I've already filed a motion to eliminate. It's probably going to be taken up on the 7th. Now, in this motion, right? I've done so much research on these documents, downloading these documents so that they don't get lost in my in translation, right? They have no case against me for kidnapping. So what the county is trying to do is make up falsehoods. They're trying to use false claimants. People that they know have just tried to attack me and make false, unfounded claims in the past. And much of the documents that I've read through are unfounded claims against me. So they have no case for kidnapping. What they have to do is try to attack my character and drag it through the dirt. And they've included people's names and files all the way back to the 1990s. So, got to think, in the 1990s, I was a juvenile. So they're trying to go back into records from my childhood and trying to bring those up in court. That is highly illegal. So, they can't go back to when I was a minor and I dealt with situations of abuse in my childhood. Now the Newton County Prosecuting Attorney's Office is trying to dive into my childhood trauma, and that is absolutely not okay for any court precedent to go after a victim in any way. And that's what they're doing, is going after me in claims and statuses where I've been a victim of abuse. So shame on them. Just when I thought they couldn't stoop to new lows, they find new ways. By the way, while we're on this live, we're going to go ahead and talk about the 6-7 code, because this is something, like, before we really get into the recap of 2025, Larry, this is something that I learned about at my daughter's school. So how the hell does something get so viral amongst America's children that has ties to a Philadelphia gang member who sings about killing cops on the roadside, who practices the dark side of Santeria? How the hell does, Skrilla get all of this fame off of this 6-7 stuff when he's such a bad person? He's a certified cop killer, Philadelphia 6700 block gang member that practices dark magic. So How about that for a way to make myself a target in 2026 if I didn't have enough waste to get hurt? I'm still getting over that flu. That thing's been a pip. Okay, I'm sharing the live out, trying to get some fans out here. So, got some of the records that show the police had been to my house on January 17th with social services, right? Now, I'm about to file a Brady motion on this, right? Because, Larry, what do we know about that event? The police came out. Do you remember who either of the officers were? Because they kind of work hand in hand together with Garrett Cummings, and they were on that house call there. We'll get we're about to uncover and unface that body camera footage. That's going to be massive when we do.
There's so many of them there, I don't remember all of them.
Well, I can tell you for sure one of the officers was Derek Mosier, Sergeant Derek Mosier of the Newton County Sheriff's Department. So he has definitely been out there with Garrett, and there's body camera footage that's out there that exists we still don't have yet. Now, the prosecution, knowing about this, they continue to create and set biases against our case. So anything that should be a relevant fact, if the police have been out there and have a working relationship with Garrett because they've been out there to the house prior, that sets a precedent that there should have been a change of jurisdiction, right? Because the police that have a working relationship with Garrett Cummings shouldn't be the officers to investigate that state worker's assault. It creates a conflict. It creates something that looks bad, and it stinks to high hell of corruption because it is. I get hit by a 3,200-pound car in February. And by the way, I've seen the reports of the officer that, he's the one that did the CPS call on the 20th. The LEO, the law enforcement officer we're talking about, Hero Cop Deputy Weiser of the Newton County Sheriff's Department. And I'll tell you, not all the reports are bad. Some of the reports show me in a really great light. That body camera footage would show me in a really great light, and I'm going to get that body camera footage because I think it's important to show the truth. I mean, people are going to see a fatter side of me because I used to be a lot fatter. One of my New Year's resolutions last year was to lose weight. Larry, have you ever had that resolution? Probably not a damn day in your life, have you? Larry's a Picanoo, and Picanoos just have a blessed blah, 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 blah. They have a blessed gene of not being fat people, like myself. I've been very big. I've been at my biggest around 500 pounds. No joke. Yeah,
That was when I was in service.
Yeah, that's when you were muscle, Larry. I mean, 250 pounds of muscle is different. That's a good thing.
Back in 1975.
Sure. I'm sure that was a different military in 75. Who was president then?
I think it was Bush.
The older one, huh?
Yeah.
George.
George Bush.
Yeah. George M, not George W.
Yeah.
We know a little bit about our presidents. You know, I think the term redneck in Africa right now is being used as genius or something. You know, I won't give my friend's name that told me that. He's he's a Christian pastor, and I definitely don't want to say his name at all, because we know what are happening right now to Christians in Africa. And hopefully the president will do something about that, because that is some ungodly things. So, you know, if I had to pray for anybody right now, that'd be who I was praying for. Because, wow, have Christians never been in more danger than what they face today? And you know, I think one of the problems that we have in our society is that we create civil wars amongst ourselves, even cold wars amongst ourselves, where a group or population of a group will go to war with itself. Yeah, Christianity is, I think, not immune from that. Just because in our culture and society we look for somebody to blame and somebody to make into a villain. That's what makes so much money, is fear. And the more police perpetuate fear, the more money they're going to make. The more the prosecutors perpetuate fear and monsters in our society, the more money they get to make. The more fathers they take off of the streets and they put in jails and dungeons, the more money they get to make. They don't believe in protecting families. They don't even care about families. Hi, Bailey. Hey, since you're in the chat, anything you want to let me know about? Are you new to the channel? Have you been seeing it? I love audience involvement, so if you want me to answer some questions, go ahead and ask them on here. It's great to get participation and know what you, as my audience, wants to know. Me and Larry are happy to give answers to anything we can, and most of the time we can. I do have a traumatic brain injury, so some things I do lose. That's why I'm lucky to have a woman like Beth, who doesn't really like being in my videos. She doesn't want any kind of stardom. She's very camera shy. But I am blessed to have her. Hey Aaron, how's it going? I was telling Bailey, anything y'all want to know, put something in the comments. I'd be happy to answer, your guys' questions on here. Occasionally I do stand-up comedy, and I'm debating on if I'm getting up there this Sunday to do stand-up. I might. If anybody's in the Joplin area, let me know. Hey Paulette. Appreciate you coming on to my live. Kind of giving everybody a 2026 year-end recap, letting everybody check out my channel. So I am doing rehab. I'm actually standing in the hot tub right now, or sitting on the edge of the hot tub. I do a lot of heat therapy because I'm doing a lot of physical therapy right now. Aaron, I appreciate the like and subscription. So thank you very much for that. The main reason I started this channel was because back in February I was hit by a 3,200-pound car that was driven by a social worker. It gave me serious lower body damage. And rather than getting my rights as a victim that got hit by a 3,200-pound car, categorized as first-degree assault, the police protected their friend, their co-worker, and they came after charges on me for not getting out of the way of his car in time. I ended up with severe lower body damage. I'm still working to overcome. I can't walk through Walmart, as an example. There's a few like small weed shops and stuff. I can ride my one wheel up to it, and I can limp through the weed shop. They'll let me, set my one wheel down. They're a pretty cool place. If anybody's in the Joplin area, it's Am I okay? As far as physically, I'm going to be able to recover. There's no surgical option on the table because nothing was torn. It did invert my knees, so the police had an eyewitness too, Larry Pickenu, right? I am going to be able to make a full recovery. I've talked to, orthopedic surgeons. The expected time frame, if things go well for me, is going to be about 1.5 years in the recovery process. I'm going to be having physical therapy tomorrow, so I'll be able to give you guys some new updates on how things are going. Lucas Brooks, he's my physical therapist. He's one of the good ones, so I'm lucky to have a good physical therapist, and I am looking to make a full recovery in 2026. All right. Well, I didn't get out of the way of his car in time, so they labeled that as kidnapping. And for the number of people that were in the car, there were 4 people in the car when he drove it through me. He didn't call the police. I did fear for my life. Now, if you go back and you watch the videos, and I might, let me know if I should make more videos on it, because I could do some fresh takes on it. It's the same evidence that's already been put out there. But I could do some fresh takes on it. They said that since I stood in front of his car and I placed a bag of diapers on it, that I substantially interfered with his liberties for 23 seconds, the time that it took him to decide to drive the car through me. My knees inverted backwards. He stopped a couple feet in front of me. Now, there's been a lot of speculation on how hard the car hit me. So to judge a distance, right? Let me stand up here. The Garrett's car is about from where you are to me, and my camera's up a little bit higher, but his bumper hits me right in the knees. Now on the Toyota Prius that he was driving, it was the 2024, his bumper came to right over my feet. So he hit me with enough force that it bent my knees backwards, and I was able to use my hand. I can't remember if it was my left or my right, but I used one of my hands to catch myself on the hood of the car. So my knees luckily only inverted as badly as Patrick Mahomes did when he tore his ACL and LCL. It was the exact same injury, except I wasn't being hit by a big person in my knee. I was being hit by a 3,200-pound car in my knee. And he hit it with enough force, just like somebody would slam on the throttle and let off. So it was that fast. The camera angle sucks. My camera angle sucks because it's facing the hood of his car. So you don't get to see in that short of a distance how far I go. We could show you by doing a distance video. I'll go back out to the property and show you guys. Be happy to do that. I got to watch out for Newton County because they still like to harass me anytime I go into their area. Well, yeah, and here's the thing. I had to leave by ambulance, right? So the police officers on the scene, they never spoke to any of my witnesses. Larry saw it happen out the window. On the scene, they should have been speaking to Larry Pickenu. They did not. My girlfriend was dealing with my daughter on the scene. They should have spoke to her. They did not. The only one they didn't speak to that they shouldn't have spoke to was my 7-year-old child. So that one they were actually right for not doing. How do I feel about Jews? I feel like Jews have been persecuted. I like that we have a great relationship right now with the Jewish Prime Minister. He is a very amazing guy. I think things are going great for our Jewish community, and I hate seeing the persecution going on of the Jewish community. It breaks my heart. We shouldn't see this in humanity anywhere. I don't even know what that word means. What is poon? $100. Huh? I don't know what that means, Nick Jersey. I ain't got $100 to my name. No, I'm not homeless now. Now I was homeless back in September. We managed to get a home. This is kind of just my outside setup for smoking weed. I don't smoke inside that house at all. So it's nice to be protected from the elements, be able to get some heat out here. Oh, I got 200. Cool. 200 what? Subscribers? Honeys, biddies, cat. Maybe I need to go back up because I am not understanding something. Yeah, they should have charged the guy that hit me with the car. They should have charged him with a RSMO 565-050, the Missouri code. It's assault with a motor vehicle. What they did is actually a federal crime. It's actually a violation of 18 U.S.C. 242. It's defamation of rights under color of law. It's to intentionally deprive somebody of their rights. And I've got that all the way up to the prosecuting attorney of Newton County, William Patrick Lynch. And yeah, we've got me and my friends have quite a bit of evidence of corruption. Especially down in Seneca, where they haven't filed their filings for how much they make on their municipal fines. They haven't done that in the last 10 years since Senate Bill 5 was passed. I spoke to the chief of police down there in Seneca, James Altick, and he has told me, and I've got it on recording, he has no clue what Senate Bill 5 was. He has no clue that they can only get 20% of their city's money through municipal fines, right? Right now, everybody that they bring into the court process, they are cycling through. All they do is municipal fines. Anything that they seek jail time on, they send to Newton County, so they don't actually prosecute it. They have the state prosecute it, meaning they are 80% over the cap limit of what they're allowed to receive, and they have been for the last 10 years. It's called policing for profit. Me and my friends have a lot of evidence of Seneca doing that. Well, there are some very, very mean trolls in here. Yes, Jesus loves you, shit. Thank you to Hood Boy Gaming and in Austin. Thank you. So I didn't want a lawsuit, right? See, people mistake that many times because somebody gets wronged and there's a lawsuit coming because my rights were violated. I mean, it's because my rights were violated. People get lost in the money aspect. Look at the money that I've lost. My life's been ruined because of, what happened to me as a victim. And I had no rights as a victim. I still have no rights. I have to go through the legal process to have a jury acquit me, and I can't wait until this gets to go to trial. And they have nothing against me. So they're trying to go all the way back to 1997 on documents that they've tried filing that can't even be allowed into the court. And I can't be talking about those, here on the live, because that is part of a court proceeding that is unlawful by the prosecution. That's going to be called out on the 7th. I'm not going to be there in person, but I will be there by WebEx. So the babies, to my understanding, are back with the mother and father. And I have documents in the ones that I just said I wasn't going to talk about, right? Some of these documents confirm that both Michael and Delania, the biological parents, are of a very low intellectual functioning, meaning they are both intellectually disabled. It's not just them. We also have records of Dean and records of Dean's alleged, where he's an alleged perpetrator on CPS reports from back in the 1990s. I'm not going to give victims' names. Honestly, those reports just aren't even allowed into the process. They're decades old. They have nothing to do with the case of Garrett Cummings driving his car through me and them, getting me for kidnapping. Brand, man, you gotta pray, man. Give that to God. Think about why she left you, or why she might not be talking to you. I've got, besides a steady relationship, I've got a lot of sisters, I've got a lot of cousins, nieces, and they come to me. And, I try to be there for them because I know the state and the system isn't. No, I won't say anything about, so you want me to say something about 6-7, is that it? I'll say it's evil and I don't support it. Because I did some research on that, right? Anybody who's got some brain cells should do a little bit of research. And 6-7 has to do with the original creator. His name is Skrilla. And he is a psychopath, Philadelphia gang member, cop killer. I'm not in support of anybody giving violence to the police. Hi, Ron. I'll go up here through some of these comments. Bran, the situation. Let me try to give him some advice, because it looks like you're going through something, my guy. Look into your history with her, right? And things. Just consider the situation. There might be something that you haven't considered, but girls tend to, if we get to know them, this is why we got us as men, we got to listen in relationships, because women tell us things a lot. I got an ex-wife, so I know how, sometimes men don't listen. I know a lot of times I was the bad guy in the relationship, so but at the same time, she's a two-faced, conniving, see you next Thursday. I wouldn't trust her any further than I can throw her, and I can tell you the day that we decided that we were getting divorced, I lost 400 pounds. So tell me you're not happy about being divorced without telling me that you're happy about being divorced. Divorces are so expensive because they're worth it. And I'll tell you, marriages are a 3-ring circus. You have your, what is that engagement ring, that wedding ring, and the suffering. I know that's what I got out of my 14-year marriage. So me and my girlfriend have vowed that we are not getting married. She had a bad marriage too, so. But yes, my understanding is that the babies are back with the disabled parents. Now, I looked at that file and report that was done where Hero cop, right? Deputy Weiser. Let's talk about that situation and how great he was. I do feel that situation could have been handled a little bit better because I read the report that Garrett did on the house. Now, Garrett certified the house as okay. This was on the 25th of February that Garrett did this certified document with CPS, certifying that he thought that the house that where the mother and father was, where the you saw Deputy Weiser say that the father was under investigation for child molestation. He was talking about Michael Grazer. That's who Deputy Weiser was talking about in there. And the alleged, I guess, offense is his son Donald that he had to give up his rights to, but he still lives in the house with. I've told y'all that Missouri, fails the kids in the system and stuff. Now, I'll tell you about a woman that I was helping. Her name was Cherokee Daniels. Cherokee, I haven't talked to her in a long time. I'm still praying for her. I'm hoping that she's doing well. She and I had a disagreement about a boy that she feels she's in love with. She wanted to move and be with him. I disagreed, but I pray I'm wrong. And Cherokee, I hope if you see this video, I hope you're blessed. I hope you're doing well, and I hope I was wrong. I hope, your dreams are coming true because you deserve it, for everything that you've been through. I have trouble talking about her. Honestly, I do. Cherokee came to me. She found me originally from my YouTube. She was with a guy that wasn't so great. She was staying in a rundown crack shack, and this girl had been through more abuse than any girl should. Her biological father is a Tier 3 sex offender in Springfield, Missouri. His name is Raymond Daniels. And he was coming after her. This girl didn't feel safe going to the police because throughout her juvenile years, the police had seen her as a delinquent. And she was just a girl that had seen a lot of trauma, and the police protected her sick father. So she reached out to me. I used the Newton County court systems, and we got her protection from her Tier 3 sex offender father that was making online threats to her. So I'm glad we got her out of that situation. She was also dealing with the situation with the boyfriend. Let's just say, had I had known some things that Ray did sooner, my girlfriend had told me about, he would have been out of the house several days sooner. Very quickly, because I do not tolerate that. I don't care that I can barely stand. I know how much pain it takes me to pass out. So I know how much time I have. I pass out most nights from pain. So I'm going to read down here through some of these comments. I can't take anything for pain, by the way. I have a medical condition called pharmacophobia. My mother doesn't understand it. She thinks I should be able to pop some ibuprofen and be fine. That's not going to happen when I've been unalived by pain pills. And I did have an incident where I was in the ICU. Vic, you just farted again. Thank God I do not have smellophone, but you are a funny guy. Or gal. I'm not sure. I don't want to assume anything. Mike Tyson or Floyd Mayweather? Geez, are we talking in their prime? I like that question, Christine. Oh man, I'm a big Iron Mike fan. See, I like Iron Mike because he's a thought out guy, and he's a guy that's had to work through some things. I'm a big believer in second chances. I love Iron Mike's story, so hey, I think I like him. I'd say if they're both in their time, If they're both in their prime, Mike Tyson. Now Floyd, I've actually got to meet. Floyd's a fairly nice guy. If you ever get to meet him out in just out and about, I met him down in Texas one time. He's a nice guy, and he's afraid of bees. So yeah, I'm gonna tell him the champ there. Yeah, and then it might just be that she needs some space and that she needs to talk to her friends because I'll tell you, I'll tell you one thing that I know about past relationships, especially where, a woman doesn't want to be around you and she's chose to leave you, is she's got her reasons. And whatever she needs to see from you, she's not going to see if you're still hounding her. She needs that time and that space probably. So I was homeless back in September. It took us about 2 weeks, and it wasn't for lack of us having finances. It was that I was going through an eviction process. My landlord had unsafe living conditions on our property, and rather than fixing those, he decided that he was going to give me eviction papers. I didn't know how long it was going to take us to get through the eviction process, so I reallocated those funds to fighting for justice. Since I had been hit by a 3,200-pound car, charged with four charges of third-degree kidnapping. um, nobody wanted to rent a property to somebody who has 4 pending charges of third-degree kidnapping, and at that time I only had that and the one charge of tampering with physical evidence. The charge of tampering with physical evidence comes because I had mistakenly sent the wrong file to Chance. It didn't show anything different other than a lot of the front where nothing happened had been cut off, but I sent him the correct file, realizing that we had a clerical error. I sent him the correct one, the one that could be used for court. It's nothing that was ever intended to change the outcome because the video that was the wrong one didn't show anything that didn't happen. So their charges are ridiculous. In Missouri, kidnapping, you have to take somebody away, restrain them physically for a substantial period of time with the intent to do that, with the intent to substantially interfere with somebody's liberty. This in no way qualifies as kidnapping because Garrett and I had a petty, and I've heard the comments. I read through my comments. People have said I'm the petty diaper guy. Well, fuck it, I'll be that. I'll be the petty diaper guy, but I still got hit by a 3,200-pound car, and that's still first-degree assault. But it took us about 2 weeks to find a place. Me and my girlfriend were, driving somewhere one day. We drove by this house, and just happened to be that the guy was Christian and willing to work with us. So, it was a blessing from God, and it was anything to get my daughter out of that situation, because she's 8 years old and doesn't need to be on the streets. Now, I did keep her in school while we were homeless, because at no point am I going to risk my daughter's education. I think it's very crucial. There are a lot of concerns that I have about Seneca and their school system, especially their elementary school that's run by Greg Hatfield. So I think there should be some things investigated there that definitely aren't, because people in power look out for people. I'm going to make sure that 6-7's dead in my daughter's school. I'll tell you that right there, because, I don't care for that crap, and it's not something children need to be repeating. Yeah, you're right. Red Bricks 8587. Good point. I was in my 20s when I got married, and I didn't understand the rings of marriage. If I had known then what I know now, yeah, I mean, you got a solid point. You love the necklace? Hey, this actually came from when my daughter was in school at Seneca. And yeah, she got me and her biological father this. I've never seen him wear his though, but yeah, my daughter got me this for Christmas one year, and yeah, I love it. Okay, Brown, Virginia. Well, thank you for that information. I don't know that I can say that on here. The chitlins are spicy. Louisiana, hell yeah, they are. If you ever go to Louisiana and have food, I hope you like heat. Because I don't smoke inside. I smoke Mary Jane. I try to smoke, not so much on camera, but yeah, I deal with PTSD. I smoke a lot of weed. I'm also being evaluated for adult autism. Cherokee's somebody that looked me up on Facebook. She saw my YouTube. She's just a girl that was failed by Missouri's foster systems, and she would come out and talk to me while I was working out in the garage of my studios, and she would teach me. She would teach me a lot about kind of where they messed up, and she and I just had a few disagreements on some things, but I pray for her, and I hope she's doing well. Because she's somebody who really got failed by Missouri's foster systems, and I hope that girl finds her break in life. It's really not tight. What you're just seeing is I used to be 500 pounds, so I got a little bit of a fat double chin. It happens with successful weight loss when you've been at a very extreme fat and then you've lost a lot of weight. So I was near 500 pounds. I'm down around 220 right now. So I'm not even half the man I used to be. You boink, high back. Sips are real. Yeah, getting over this flu ain't too fun either. Name is Anthony. I go by Ace. I'm an anti-corruption expert. I actually just got on the TikTok platform, so I'm still learning that. So the guy over here in the back, this is Larry Picanew. A big part to Hero Cop that people have asked for questions on was his relationship with Delania. Because Delania was somebody with mental disabilities. Now, what I learned through taking care of my Uncle Guy, that's my connection to Delania, was through my mentally challenged and disabled uncle. I took care of him for about 20 years. And I was his payee for 20 years. She got to see a lot of this stuff online when I was a truck driver, and I got to take Guy to Arrowhead. We got to go to the AFC Championship game, see the Kelsey Jabroni speech. We were right down there on field level for that. I still got confetti from that AFC Championship game. But she's got to see my uncle live a very lavish life with me being his payee for years, and she kind of desired that. So after my uncle passed away, she looked me up online and wanted to give me her condolences. I hung out with her and her husband and Donald one time. I had a lot of concerns after we took Donald home, especially of the living situation that the kids were in. So I wasn't too happy when I went inside their Dean and Rose's house, and they had firearms laying around the house that were loaded. We're talking about small 9mm. We're not talking about world breaker guns, but guns that were laying around the living room floor where children were crawling around. I see that as a very dangerous situation. And the grandparents are at no higher of an intellectual property than the mother and father. The mother, Delania, used to have a guardian. Her name is Angie Casavecchia. Angie Casavecchia is the public administrator for Jasper County, and she works with people who cannot take care of themselves, which is what Delania needs. That's what Delaney needs. Now, when the situation came that Delaney was going back to the abusive situation, I knew that we couldn't keep the kids. We had no paternal rights. I had been working with Delaney's mother in Washington State because I felt that Delaney's mother was probably the best one equipped to take Delaney and take the kids. She's the best one to be a guardian for Delaney. It is her biological mother. She lives in Washington State, and it's an area that Delaney has talked about wanting to go back to. I think being with her paternal mother, who has a clean record, is a great idea for Delaney and for Delaney's children. Because somebody needs to look out for the safety of them. And we know it sure as heck ain't going to be the Missouri system, because it has so many holes in it, it's not funny. Now, one of the big things is that Larry and Delaney had a relationship. That was solicited by Delaney. Delaney wanted to choose Larry because Larry could provide her with finances. Things were going well for me at the time. So Larry lived very cheaply, had some expendable money. I thought it was good for Larry. And I still do. What makes him tier 3 is that he had sex with children under 12 years of age and raped them. So tier 3 is the worst. It means absolute monster status in Missouri. That's what tier 3 is. That's what makes him a tier 3. He did that. I don't want to give the victims' names. Out of respect for the victims, I'm not going to give their names, but I can tell you that there are multiple children that he's done that with. And he's a very dangerous person. Especially, I saw the threats that he was making to his daughter, biological daughter, that he committed offenses against. So that's what makes him a tier 3 monster. And I saw the threats. They were sickening. I did report that to the police, and I hope they took it seriously for her. I'm anti-blue corruption, so I'm not anti-police. And that's something that gets mistaken in my channel a lot. Is that because it says anti-blue corruption? It means that there's a lot of police corruption, and I'm really, really against it. Fighting it makes me happy, happy, happy. But I'm not anti-police. Honestly, I believe police lives matter. Tell you all the story. When my daughter was enrolled in school, she had, and I won't give names on this because I'm not going to risk the safety of this guy. He is a police officer. I'm not going to risk his safety or his family's safety. So I'm going to leave him unnamed in this video. But his daughter and my daughter were friends in the same class. We got invites to his daughter's birthday party. We bought his daughter presents. Our kids played together. They had a good time. We were friends. I never wanted anything bad to ever happen to this guy. Even though I've had trauma for years from the police, I didn't want anything bad to happen to this guy. I didn't want this, girl that was my daughter's friend to go home without a father or mother. We got mothers out there that are police officers too. Shout out to y'all. Are you dating her? I am dating Beth. So I don't know what her you're referring to. And the girl that I helped, no, we never had any kind of relation like that. We were just friends. She is in her 20s. Cherokee that was abused, she's in her 20s now, early 20s. Why are you in pain? Because I was hit by a 3,200-pound car in February. It inverted my knees backwards. Larry saw it out the window. So he was watching out the window like one of those Garfield cats, right? He had a good, clear view of what happened. Larry, why am I in so much pain? What happened to me on that impact? Well, tell the police what happened to my body. Or not police, the audience. Tell the audience what happened to my body on that.
You got drugged.
I got drugged. Did my knees go a direction?
Yeah, they inverted backwards.
What was the distance?
5 feet.
Like I said, we can go out to the site. We can do an actual measurement. You know, I've got to go to physical therapy tomorrow. I have recovered to the point of being able to ride my one wheel. I got a Pine X, so it helps me to be able to tolerate enough pain to be able to get on that platform and ride from one area to another. Especially when I got to ride across town. See, I got a condition, chips, not chunks. I'm sorry, man. Being on pharmaceuticals is hard. It's also hard not being able to take pharmaceuticals. I'm in the category of I can't take pharmaceuticals because they cause me severe anxiety. Back in December of 23, me and my girlfriend were taking Beth. We were taking care. This is before Delaney Evans. We were taking care of her mom and grandma. They were both dealing with stage 4 lung cancer. We helped them through the final 2 years of their life. We didn't always get along. My mother, I call her my mother-in-law because she will always be that to me, Rita. And she taught me a lot. And the things that she taught me in life and that her mother taught me, well, we helped them battle through their final 2 years. What they taught me is worth its weight in gold. So until I get to see them in heaven again, I love them. Now and I always will. But I also know that those women did no voodoo. So I don't trust that they're not still watching me. So I'm definitely making sure that I'm on my P's and Q's. But after what happened in December 23, my doctor had put me on hydrocodone because I was in a serious semi-wreck. It took me out of trucking back in July 22. Took me out of the trucking industry completely. I drove for 15 years, but my doctor put me on a hydrocodone. It was a hydrocodone. And my girlfriend was supposed to be at her mother's, helping them with her daughter. They were supposed to have a girls' weekend. I had 50-50 custody of my son Blade. He was over at my house, and we were supposed to have a boys' weekend. Well, I didn't know at that time that I was going to have an allergic reaction. My girlfriend wasn't supposed to come back that night. She wasn't supposed to come back that weekend, but she got into an argument with her grandma. And through an act of God, and I will call it that, and I will thank God for it, because my girlfriend got upset with her grandmother, got into an argument, and decided that she wanted to come home. Well, around 11:30, we used to live out near Walter Woods, which was the south part of Joplin. We have scorpions, tree bark. So I wake up at about 11:30 with feeling my lips swell. And my first thought is I got either bit by a spider or stung by a scorpion. I go to look at myself in the mirror, and then I feel my face starting to swell, tongue starting to swell. It ended up being determined that it was an allergic reaction to the medicine, to the hydrocodone. It sent me into severe anaphylactic shock. My girlfriend told me that we had to, get the kids up to go. My son was old enough that, I didn't expect us to be gone that long, or her to be gone that long. And she wasn't. She came back for the kids. But she had to get me to the ER. Because had she not got me there immediately, I would have been dead on the spot. That's how severe the reaction was, that they had to give me an injection of epinephrine and incubate me immediately. Without it, I would have been dead right there. And I spent 2 days in the ICU fighting for my life. And it was through an act of God that I ended up coming back at all. I don't talk a lot about that event because that event has completely changed me in life and who I am to the core as a person. Between that, helping Rita and Evelyn, losing my uncle in July. I lost my uncle in July of 24. So on the timeline, let me give you all this. For when I went to help Delania. Delania reached out to me in late July after my uncle had passed, after we had his funeral. Because we didn't do his funeral until his official birthday. He was born July 20th of 1969. He was born breech, the day that man landed on the moon. He was born mooning the world. But he was mentally challenged. He meant a lot to me. So when I found out that his friend, Delania, was being abused over at Michael and Rose's, I got fairly upset. She asked if I would come get her, and I said no problem. I took a video of the abusive situation that night. Now, Delania, with her intellectual challenges, she tends to instigate things that she shouldn't and put herself in situations that are dangerous to her, which is why she needs a guardian. And I'm still praying that she gets a guardian. I would love to see it be her mother in Washington, to be honest. I think that'd be the best situation for the kids, because those boys are a special little light and they deserve to be protected. And I don't trust Missouri to do it. It's sad to say. I don't trust our state government. And you know, I've met the Attorney General, Catherine Hanaway. I'm not going to say anything bad about Catherine. She's, I believe, a very honorable person. I believe if she were to look at the things in my charges, which, you know, she doesn't have the ability to look at right now, but she would be the state's attorney, because essentially that's what she is. She is the state's highest attorney. So if anything in the state's done wrong, she has the obligation to represent the state. That's what her office has told me. I have got to meet our state auditor, Scott Fitzpatrick. He's running for re-election in 2026, and you know, I'm supporting him. I don't expect him to vote for me when I run for candidacy in 2026, because he's friends with the guy I'm running against, Eric. I've got to meet Eric and Scott at these events, but I mean, getting back into the situation with Delania, I saw the abuse firsthand, so it was real. Her mother's seen it, her grandmother's seen it, and I never took away contact with her mother. I always wanted her to have contact within the circle, because what I learned when I worked as my uncle's payee is it helps to have a construct of checks and balances. So my uncle was set up on services through connections. I was working on getting Delania on those same services, because it's important for somebody who has disabilities where they have to have that representation. They need to have multiple representations so that there's checks and balances for their protection. And that's something that I always had with my uncle, and I felt it helped protect me in being his payee as well, because I worked with a team. I didn't just make the decisions on my own. I do just smoke pot. So, I mean, appreciate that comment, Zach. I do smoke a lot of pot, and I don't smoke nicotine at all. So yeah, you can't just smoke pot. By the way, if you smoke a large quantity of marijuana, you will find that it doesn't have the same illicit effect. It loses some of the illicitness, but it still works great for all the other things. So y'all, what I'm drinking, Body Armor. It's really great for staying hydrated. Back to Larry and Delania's relationship too, guys, is she knew that he had extra money. She went after him. I mean, you'd be surprised. People that have intellectual disabilities tend to be very in uninhibited in what they want and will be very bold about it. An RCF would be another good option for Delania, where she would have 24/7 care. So I mean, there's some great options out there. It's not that I don't care about Delania; it's that she's dangerous and presents a danger to my daughter, and I do not want her around. James Timmons, it's recreational in Missouri, and the police hate that. But this, if you consider the three brands, right? So you got nicotine, you got alcohol, you got THC. THC also has a chemical in it. When the THC starts to degrade, it turns into CBN, which is really great for the nerves. It stimulates the brain cells and it helps the conduction between the nerves. So it actually does really good things for the body: glaucoma, sight, mental. It does so many great things. Um, no, I'm not dating Cherokee. I never dated Cherokee. We did not have any kind of a girlfriend boyfriend relationship at all. She is somebody that I care about because she's been through some crap. And I believe that God touches people that have seen that kind of stuff in life. And I believe that Cherokee, she gets things right. She's going to be a great warrior for God. So despite some of our conflicts, I still pray for her. And no, we never dated, never were. Yes, herbs. Yes, sir, Mr. 420 herbs. I think this is broccoli. Super powered broccoli. Oh, and I pray a millennial isn't watching this thinking that sounds like a new challenge. My girlfriend complained about the kitchen sink being broken one time. I found a way to fix it. It's a great thing about being a redneck. But they were dating. She wanted Larry. She's got some perversions of her own. I hope she gets therapy for. And that's talking about Delania, not Cherokee. I'm not talking about Cherokee there. You are what you say you are. Okay, whatever that means, HD man. I'm not really following that, but I've got a traumatic brain injury. So back in July of 22, I was driving for, I believe it was KMS out of Chicago. I was driving for Casey out of Chicago. Anyways, I was leaving a TA in Covington, Louisiana. Next thing I know, I'm waking up in a hospital in St. Tammany Parish. So I had a serious head injury, lost some memory from it. I ended up having to have shoulder surgery back in March of 24. I've got pharmacophobia, so I couldn't take anything for pain afterward. That really sucked. But I'll tell you, it makes you a lot tougher when you don't take pharmaceuticals. Well, thank you, Ace the Man. Ace the Man, you the man. The old guy in the back is Larry. He is 70, actually. Riker, you're 68. I mean, hey, if you're from Missouri and you want his number, he's single. I mean, y'all aren't that far apart on age. Yeah, thank you, Hurricane XFI. I do need to catch up. It's like I got a brain injury or something. Can't believe so many people watch me. Like Bank Chan from Stray Kids. I don't know that I've ever heard of that. So Shit on Netflix, let me know. I don't know what Stray Kids is. You know, when I was really fat, people used to tell me I looked like a celebrity. It wasn't a compliment, though. People used to be like, you look like Chris Farley. I'll show you guys one of my old fat pictures sometime. It's true, I did look like Chris Farley. I was that big. A lot of you young folks won't know who Chris Farley was. He was a legend of comedy in our generation. Lost to opioids, lost to the cartels. Because really, the drugs that pour into our country, and I'll tell you where some of those drugs that Trump hasn't quite figured out yet, maybe he needs to look more into shipments from China. Because I bet you definitely got a few from China that are pouring in still. It is a pretty cool necklace. I couldn't believe that my daughter got me this for Christmas one year through her school. H-Wang. Is H-Wang that... I don't even think I'm Asian. If that sounds like an Asian name, H-Wang. See, I thought I'd go with the Robertson vibe. I'm a big fan of the Robertsons. A very, very good Christian family down there in Louisiana. Really, really sad about the Phil Robertson passing. So Phil was a great man, a good character. And you know, definitely proof of second chances, because if anybody's ever seen the movie The Blind with Phil Robertson, my God, Phil is not painted in a good light at all. So for Phil to want to make that movie, to let people know about his flaws and the bad man that he was, he didn't have to make that. He could have hid that. But to make that video, to show the world the things that he overcame and the evil that he overcame within himself, I think just adds to Phil's heroism. No, SCO Electric. We don't do 67. That is a bad thing. I'm gonna end that in my daughter's school too. I first seen 6-7 in her school, so I thought maybe it was a math thing, a learning thing. No, that's something. If you guys look up 6-7, it's got some really dark history to it. Black Pill Bill. So you searched the gays channel, mine came up. Well, I mean, I guess that really helps me with the gay audience, doesn't it? I mean, do you got something against gay people anyways? They're people too. So, I mean, yeah, congratulations if you think I'm gay. You must find me very attractive like some other viewers. Oh yeah, the goofball in the back, Larry Wayne Pickenu. His dad's name was John Wayne, actually.
No, John Paul.
John Paul. Oh, John Paul. Which one was John Wayne? I know there's John Wayne somewhere there. Maybe we just got Larry Wayne. He's the off-brand John Wayne. He's been out there, you know, in the country with me when I've blown things up. Okay, we get some tannerite. We have a blast out there. Tannerite ain't too expensive. You can get it at your local academy. Don't use it for anything bad, though. I mean, like don't be stupid with it. I am done. Well, I do have a certified brain injury. Brand, I thought you liked me, man. James Dillon. Yeah, hey, I like that. Smoke like it broke. You know, I think marijuana needs to be made a lot more affordable. If you want to talk about one of the most stereotyped things ever, it's pot. It is one of the most hated substances in the world, and it is one of the most helpful substances in the world. What kind you smoking? Oh, I'm smoking what I kind of have as an off-brand. Since I'm unsponsored on a marijuana product, I don't exactly give a brand. I call this. I used to work on old U.S. Brig Niagara. That's one for y'all to YouTube right there. I was a deckhand on that ship, and used to learn a lot about knots. So I just call this knotweed because YouTube does not like weed. So they're one of those big things for the monetization. They think that smoking weed is smoking a drug because it's still certified as illegal in so many places. I'm heartbroken because I'm a Kansas City Chiefs fan, and they're moving in 2031. They're going to be in Kansas, so that's going to be the end of my ventures to a Chiefs game, unless maybe by some nice chance marijuana were to be legal in Kansas. So I mean, I can't hate I can't hate Clark Hunt for making a good business deal, right? So I mean, I saw Missouri's offer because I go to the Republican convention meetings. That's how I know Eric Burleson, who works under the President of the United States. That's how I know Ben Baker, who's friends with the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. So for a stupid guy, I know some people who know some people. I go to these conventions, I still see Ben. Ben makes it a point to get down here to Southwest Missouri, as does Eric. Sometimes you need some inspiration. But yeah, to answer your question, Brand, I just call this not weed. I mean, it looks green, but it might not be weed. And it might be a brand called a knot. So it's not weed. What did they do to you today? They've done a lot to me today and over the last several, over the last year. 2025 has been an odd year, so I started out as a licensed realtor. I won't say who, but I had a potential client. He was interested in a property on North Rangeline, a property that was on the MLS for over $4 million. He was a potential buyer and could produce. I know the credentials. I won't give out any clientele information. As a fiduciary and a licensed realtor, I would never do that. That's how I started out 2025. It was looking like a very good year. Problem was I had to give up my realtor's license because I got hit by a 3,200-pound car while I was helping a mentally challenged woman who was a victim of domestic violence, helping her two minor children who were only a year old at the time. We helped them for several months. We saw the danger that she presents to those kids. The system is failing them just as they failed Cherokee, in the same way they failed, Miss Gypsy Rose. The same way that the Missouri social services system failed Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Because the abuse that girl went through, serving prison time. Luckily, you know what? I know a little something about the cellmate that she had. I know, because I know Gypsy's old cellmate that she had while she was in prison, all 8 years. If anybody's a fan of Gypsy Rose Blanchard, let me know. Unthinkable what she went through. Mr. Turtle Lips, neither, because I'm not a fan of roller coasters, and no, I've got anxiety, and going really fast on a whirly woolly that gets stopped upside down at times does not sound like fun to me. So, I stay out of the fun parks. I'd rather sit around, smoke weed, and listen to music. Yeah, Trump doesn't mess around. I mean, He's in office to get some things done. And I'll tell you, I think Trump is a blessed man, very blessed man. He's a very smart man. I'll tell you that. We got a great president, and I think America is blessed because our country was not going in a good way. Yeah, I support William Standard 1452. I do support police. I do support funding the police. I'd never support defunding the police. That would be stupid. I would never support defunding the police. You know, we were talking earlier in this live about old favorite movie called Tombstone. So, you know, police were created in the 1900s because of the rapists, the murderers, the thieves, I mean, very bad people. And, you know, we've actually found in Missouri some of those people reside in law enforcement. As a matter of fact, there was the ex-chief of Goodman. He got caught for stealing his brother's cattle, threatening him, threatening his brother's family, and he used to be the chief of Goodman. Right now, that's Goodman's under investigation by the auditor's office, Scott Fitzpatrick. I'm supporting Scott for his run in 2026 for state auditor. I've got to meet Scott's family. They're great people. You know what? Scott cares about ending corruption. And you know, the more he gets, the more he investigates, he's going to make Missouri a great place again. And I think we are very blessed to have a state auditor like Scott Fitzpatrick. Follow the money and you'll find the corruption. But yes, I do support the police and their funding because police need funding. What I don't support is policing for profit. I don't support them getting the money from the communities that they have to police, because when you do that, you set up a institution for corruption where the government's going to take advantage, and they're going to abuse it anywhere where there's money. I am not anti-Democrat, so I believe that I've actually got a lot of friends that are Democrats. I got a friend that owns a mechanic shop over here in Joplin. He's a Democrat, so, and he suffers from TDS, Trump derangement syndrome. I talk to Democrats on my Facebook and other things. So, Jesus sat with those who were sick because they were in need of a physician. So, I mean, if somebody, has a differing view, I'm not afraid to sit down and have that conversation. Sometimes we agree on things. Did you know that there are two people on the marijuana caucus who I never thought that I'd have anything in common with? But turns out that Chuck Schumer and Cory Booker are both for ending the prohibition. Holy cow. Somebody that's in the Republican Party can say something good about those two Democrats? Apparently I'm not anti-Democrat. As a matter of fact, how many of you have heard of this guy? His name is Barack Hussein Obama. I'm going to take a second and leave you with that while I take a hit. One Missouri Republican that has something good to say about that guy. And I got a big story about Barack Obama and Joe Biden. More about Joe Biden than Barack, but not too long ago, before Obama left office, I believe this was a few days before Trump came in to take over, he pardoned my friend's uncle. So Dustin Ingle's uncle, I've got to ask Dustin to figure out what his uncle's name is, but he was in prison over some marijuana charges and things, where James Altick, one of the corrupt chiefs of police that I'm exposing in Seneca, this guy got my friend's uncle locked up for what was essentially life over some marijuana stuff. And he got a presidential pardon from Barack Hussein Obama. So on that, I will give Obama his flowers. I mean, it's not too hard. If somebody does something good, even if it is Barack, give him his flowers if he does something good. And, if he does something that annoys the piss out of you, moon his motorcade. That's fun, too. Let me ask you this. What has two thumbs and has mooned the president's motorcade? I won't say exactly when, but I think he was coming from the movie theater. He must have been watching the movie Twister. There wasn't really much of a theater there. Get the illegal drugs out of our country. I agree. So story about illegal drugs in our country. A big one is methamphetamine. And methamphetamine is being dosed by the cartels with a drug that makes it stronger called fentanyl. Fentanyl is taking lives in our country. I've got two brothers that have had their bouts. One has successfully overcome that, and the other is sitting in jail. The other one has some disabilities. I think he might need a guardian. Another system failure, right? Sometimes people need to be watched or cared for extra in their lives, and I hope those people have somebody there for them. But yes, I agree, get the illegal drugs out, and I believe that Trump is doing a very good job of that. Okay, Logan, if you're still on here, you got your shout out, man. I'm trying to read through these, but I get to talking and I'm not that talented. Also, I have sinus problems. If y'all haven't noticed, my nose isn't exactly straight. It's straight-ish. Back in the 90s, me and my brothers were very big fans of wrestling, and when they said do not try this at home, we took it as a challenge. Generation X is the greatest generation. Yeah, Dutch. We're not supporting that brand. That's Philadelphia gang related, anti-police. Actually, it talks about police murder. If you look up the original creator Skrilla, he talks about killing Ray roadside, waiting until the blue lights come. Doot doot. Doot doot's about bullets coming out of a gun. That's where the song originates from. Is the song Doot Doot by the artist Skrilla. So yeah, I mean, if you support that, get educated on that, and if you still support that, well, I'm praying for you. Oh, is that what that is? I thought that was like a little wood totem. But yeah, it is a pretty cool thing. The tent is because we end up with a lot of wind that comes through here. We end up with rain. We smoke a lot of weed, and we like a little bit of cover to smoke our weed in where we can stay dry. So that way we get to stay out of the elements and still enjoy our 420 because we believe it is the Lord's lettuce. So yeah, I used to be a real dumbass truck driver at one point in my life. Well, it was an act of medical science that saved me. And God did, put the person in my life to take me to those medical people. So I would agree that it's both. Because without her, I lost my sight halfway to the hospital. If she hadn't showed up, I'd be dead. There's no question about that. I wouldn't have made it to those medical people that saved my life. Black sheep, but man, I tell you, black sheep fits me too. I got a family full of black sheeps. Hell, Larry's dad was more like the Hugh Hefner type. I don't know if anybody ever knew the old late owner Playboy, but I always did love Playboy magazine too because they go more, I think, into the artistic side. Hell yeah, 420. But you know what? Hey, I respect a magazine that, lets a woman show her body, make money, and live a glorified life without being too overly dirty about it. corrupt man. No, Georgianne. It's anti-corrupt man, anti-corruption. So guess I can go through some of these hidden messages now, or some of these. I'll pray for you, Georgianne. Somebody said because I'm full of sugar, honey, iced tea. Well, I mean, some people do believe that, and I do say a lot of things that are really out there. Be surprised how many of them are true. Well, I'll pray for your grandma, Larry. I mean, there are judgmental people out there. I know. Hey, my grandma had hers about her, but she's a pretty great woman. I bet your grandma is too. Yeah. Trying to go back through here and read some of y'all messages. So Larry, what was one of the big bits about Delaney? What was one of our big, because people want to know about Hero Cop. I think that's a big one that we need to talk about, right? Is Hero Cop. What happened with the kids and stuff. Number one, we put in a call to the police on the 20th, right? I'm the one that called the police when Weiser came out for Hero Cop, because I knew the situation she was taking the kids into was unsafe. I've seen the house. I've read the report from the social worker, Garrett, who said that it was nasty. You know what that tells me? That tells me that there's possibly some body camera footage of this, because I sure think that if Garrett went out there, he should have had officer assistance, especially with the accusation of firearms being in the house. But this is after Garrett hit me with the car. But the reporter for Hero Cop and the reporter for that social work incident was me. So I'm the one that reported that for the safety of those kids. And I was working with Children's Haven in Joplin to figure out what was going to be the best and safest situation for the boys to go into. We had no rights to the children. My daughter was already emotionally upset about the situation. So for her interest, I thought it was best to get the children out of my house and into a supportive organization. I had Children's Haven that was willing to work with me to take the kids, because Garrett was taking his sweet time doing the investigation on Michael and Rose's house. Turns out Rose confessed on body-worn camera footage that she's friends with Garrett, that Garrett knows her, and that Garrett would approve her house, and that he had already decided. Well, perhaps that's because Garrett Cummings was friends with my ex-wife, Tammy Wetzel, who's also implicated in making these reports on me. So a lot of false reports that the prosecution wants to allow in. That's just not going to happen. The charge that I got from February 21st of 2025 was kidnapping for standing in front of Garrett's car and not getting out of the way in time. The police have already said that. They've already stated that. That's what they've got to try me on. They can't try to try me from things back in 1997 when I was a child. So kind of some of the things that they have, it's absolute stupidity. Even situations where I was the victim, they want to try to air that in court, and it's not going to be allowed. My attorney's completely ignored my case, so he's fought with me at every turn. That's what the prosecution wants, is an attorney that will cause me to lose my head in court, lose my head in a jury trial, so that a jury will think I'm a bad person and convict me. It's not going to happen, because standing in front of a car that drives through you is not kidnapping. That doesn't fit that definition at all. That's the definition of stupidity. Cosmos, you are great. I agree 100%. This is set for a jury trial. It is set for a jury trial. And guess what? You are all welcome to attend. If anybody wants to come to Neosho, Missouri to attend this trial, it will be on April 14th and 15th of 2026 at the Newton County Justice Center at 123 Main, I believe it's East Main Street, but it's right there in the square. But it's going to be, the jury selection is going to be on the 14th. The actual trial is going to be on the 15th. I guess if they get the jury selected early, they might do some of the trial on the 14th. So, but I mean, the public's welcome to attend. These are public events. I've gone to other people's trials because I realize I'm not the only person that the county has screwed and come after. So, but yeah, Cosmos, you're 100% right, man. Always go for a jury of your peers. Don't trust the system. Honestly, the state doesn't even have a right to try this case, because the state can't both be the person that hit me, right? He's a state worker. He was on state time. He was acting as a state actor when he committed a felony crime against me and driving the car through me. It wasn't a little hit. It did significant damage. My body is still trying to recover. I'm still at the point of limping, and I can't walk very far. What is in the pipe is not weed. KNOTT. It is not weed. It is 100% broccoli powder. But I appreciate the ask. And I am in a state where marijuana is completely legal on my own property, so technically it's a kitchen sink. Daniel, Happy New Year. Hello, welcome to the chat, buddy. Am I the guy that killed George Floyd? Absolutely not. That was a very awful incident. When somebody is saying that they can't breathe and the police have him held down and there are 7 cops standing around him, I do not believe that is a good thing. That was absolutely awful what happened to George Floyd, Mr. George Strait. No, that was the police that did that to George Floyd. Was it a... Nope, it was nobody that was of any dark skin complexion that hit me. So I have no problem with the black community. I run an anti-police corruption channel. Me and the black community tend to get along. Even me and my black family members tend to get along very well. All right, and my battery is getting low, so this is where I'm going to have to end the chat, y'all. But it was good getting on here, answering your questions. And if you haven't already, like, sub, and I'll see you guys in the next chat.